Do you ever wonder how narcissism develops? Join me in this upcoming series as we do a deep dive into the frequently asked questions about narcissism. Where in this video, we're going to uncover the origins of narcissistic behavior. From childhood experiences to environmental factors, we're going to uncover the many different influences that shape narcissistic traits. Well, hello and welcome back to today's episode of the Holistic Healing Network. I am your hostess, Leah Petrucci, licensed mental health counselor and holistic health and spiritual wellness coach, as well as narcissistic recovery coach. So today's episode, I'm going to be answering the frequently asked question that I get often in my coaching and counseling practices of how does a narcissist become a narcissist in the first place? What are the origins of narcissism? And so to answer that question, it starts in early childhood. Studies show that personality disorders can start as early as the first few years of life. Depends on many factors. It depends on the old nature versus nurture argument. I believe that both can be involved. So if there are genetic predispositions, if the parent had narcissistic behaviors, that's a double whammy of getting genetics and also the learned behaviors of narcissism. But typically the dynamics of a child growing up with a parent or parents who overindulged them, kind of spoiled them and bailed them out of trouble all the time, where they never had consequences. Typically I'll hear that they were a mama's boy, that their mother just really spoiled them as a male child growing up and just kind of let them get away with everything and didn't have any consequences or boundaries or rules. Or it could be the opposite, or it could be a combination of both. But the opposite looks like having a parent with very rigid boundaries, and that praise was not given unless that child really performed, unless they got straight A's, unless they were the number one on the sports team. Only then did they get that love and praise. So very conditional love, basically. Typically you also see a lot of shaming and blaming, and just getting in trouble a lot, and just not a lot of love and support. So typically that's what you see as the common thread of the family dynamics. Also, was there trauma as far as being bullied, being teased? I do also hear in the case of female narcissists, I hear that they're the opposite, the daddy's girl. So you typically hear with boys that they were a mama's boy, and with typically, not always, but with the girls you hear they were a daddy's girl. So daddies spoiled them or let them get away with whatever, or bought them a car for their 16th birthday and, let them do whatever. And they were kind of a princess. They were overindulged. They were overindulged in certain ways, kind of like financially, but underindulged as far as getting their emotional needs met. That true, authentic connection that they needed to get from their parents, they didn't get, because their parents were either preoccupied with their own stuff, or they were workaholics, or they were addicts and couldn't pay attention to them because they were consumed with their own stuff, or they were themselves narcissistic as parents. But again, that doesn't always have to be the case. I do see narcissistic people that did not have narcissistic parents. I sometimes see that they had parents that were just very codependent and enabling, or had addiction issues or things of that nature. When we hear the words abuse and neglect, we automatically go to the worst case scenario in our minds. We think abuse means only physical, that only applies if the child was beaten, that it doesn't necessarily apply if they were yelled at or put down or withheld emotion, things like that. Those things do count as emotional abuse is basically harm in an emotional way, or verbal or psychological. And neglect is when they don't get important things that they need to develop, such as love and praise and validation. So it makes sense that if they weren't validated as children, that they would not know how to validate their partner in an adult relationship. It's not just something that they can take a class on and learn how to do, really, because they've had this programming their entire life up to that point of what they need to do to get their needs met. I hope that answers the question of how does a narcissist become a narcissist. It basically comes down to family dynamics and trauma, developmental trauma that they carry over with them into adulthood. Stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be, do narcissistic people know what they're doing? Do they know that they're causing this harm? If so, what does that look like? So stay tuned for that answer. If you're liking this content, please show my channel some support by liking my video, giving it a thumbs up, commenting with any feedback or questions, sharing this video with loved ones, someone that could benefit from this information, and subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss a thing. And stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video. Well, thanks for watching another episode of Holistic Healing Network. If you're in need of further counseling or coaching, I have 2 opportunities for you. I work one-on-one with adults depending on where you live. I implement multiple areas of specialization involving holistic healing for the mind, body, spirit, and relationship. I also offer a supportive group community program specifically for single women, whether you're divorced, whether you're separated from your spouse, or whether you've never been married, but you're seeking holistic healing in a supportive community setting as they break toxic patterns of choosing unhealthy partners in relationships, as well as focus on prioritizing self-care in health and wellness. I will include links in the description of the video for how you can work with me either individually or in a group setting. Thanks for watching Holistic Healing Network, and I'll see you in the next video.